My name is Aaron Hagman. I play the voice and the actions behind Jhinn the Monk. I have been playing D&D since the beginning of 5e.
No, actually, I've been like in the realm of fantasy. I've been more so on the anime end, like DBZ, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha. Been on that end, and so like I had friends who played Dungeons and Dragons, and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, but it like nothing ever like, I guess like sparked my interest enough to actually play.
I think the earliest exposure I ever really had to it was probably back in college, when I'd go play Magic at a store, and like there'd be a group of guys just hanging out, and like, well, I'd heard of D&D before, but I'd never really seen people playing it. And then at one point I saw people playing with minis, and I didn't know that like miniature games and D&D games were different.
Doing this, like, this has been like really cool. It's a brand new world for me, uncharted territory. So far so good. I think this is kind of a like really nice way to be introduced into Dungeons and Dragons formally, like actually playing a character. And so I'm excited. I mean, I'd be very interested in getting into LARPing after this. So like, I mean, we'll see what happens.
The closest I've ever come to a cosplay or a LARP is that Disney World has like this Halloween party they throw every year, and so like I dressed up as Wreck-It Ralph one time. I didn't just like dress up in a Halloween costume. I like tried to go and cosplay as him. That's the first time I ever like tried to like LARP, like live action role play. I had a lot of fun. I like mean mugging the camera the entire just. And like the Disney staff would like come like, "Hey Ralph," I'm like, "Oh my god," you know, that type of stuff. Like, oh, it's so close to my heart. All right, so Jhinn is, I believe he's a monk of the Order of the Golden Mantis, which is a shout out to Jeff, our producer. I believe he owns, or is owns, owner of a couple of dojos, or I don't know the exact terminology. I'm sorry. Martial arts studios, whatever you would call it. Yeah, the Golden Mantis, I think, is what the name is on there. So Jhinn's Order of the Golden Mantis. He's younger, and the story that I have right now, and granted it can change a little bit. The story I'm going with right now is that my sensei, or whatever my master, sent me away to learn a little bit of patience and leadership, because Jhinn is impatient for someone that's tried to be disciplined. Growing up basically in this monastery also gives him this little bit of dumbness to the world. He doesn't quite catch on to like idioms and like common phrases. You know, there's he doesn't exactly understand just some of the popular nomenclature and everything. So he'll throw a dumb bit out there every now and then. You know, like say, that's bullshit. And he's like, I don't see any feces anywhere. You know, like something like that. And you know, he's very literal into that sense. And maybe that's the only part that he really took into it was his schooling part, like learning to read and write. And maybe that's the only part he truly took 100% serious. In that, so he's very literal about what things are said.
You know what's hilarious about Jhinn? I love how like he's stupid, but at the same time he's so hyper aware. Like he breaks the fourth wall. He's like, I don't know what 2 + 2 is, but I know we might be in a game right now, like in Dungeons and Dragons, and like he's the only one that's aware of that, and like he's just sitting there like, oh man, this is so funny. This looks like a game piece or something like that. But you know, he doesn't know what, I don't know, like the next move is. He can't tell the shadow from, you know. Well,
you'll see there in like episode 1, he walks into the Green Dragon, and then he's like, wait, this is a barn on the outside. This is old McDonald's. You're like, shack here. And like inside's a fine, reputable establishment. He's like, what is going on? I really like that.
He's like, why am I in Tennessee? This is like, what's in Tennessee? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, this dude's out of his mind.
Yeah, I know coming up, I'm gonna. You know, hopefully this goes on for more gameplay, and I'm really wanting to play off what we did last season and like introduce that again to get even more meta with Jhinn. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah,
I love that.
So I gotta apologize. In some of the later combats coming up, I get a little bit tropey. I was like, Jhinn does a flip, and like so like that's coming up, man. And it might. I try to get it in there probably at least once a combat because like Jhinn does some ninja shit, you know. And he goes on to the next. Goes on to the next one, and I realized with the budget we can't exactly do stunts and everything. Right. So some of that might. Jhinn jumps through a window. Everyone's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on now. I'm like, oop, you know. Jhinn climbs through a window, you know. And, yeah, anyway. So, it's very interesting working with that type of, we didn't have a lot of magic. The magic we had were, Orsinius, healing somebody. So you just lay hands on you and feel better, cure wounds, and there is a pretty cool time when deflect missiles it's a monk move in 5e or probably in many editions beforehand, but you can snatch a projectile out of the air. So I tried to keep all that in mind and what would look cool on camera and everything, and then and then when we got into playing, some of that kind of melted away a little bit, and I'm like, here I am, just rolling with Jhinn, and then it had to be brought back to reality a couple times, and then that was that. It was pretty cool.
I would say it's somewhere between I think it's Aleph, and Blagdor, because Blagdor, there's I think. Or at least the idea is there's gonna be some sub context between Blagdor and Jhinn, because I'm gonna start doing the dead cow milk a lot, and he's been reacting a lot to my dead cow milk, because there's a couple of scenes where I actually open it up and start drinking it and stuff that, and he reacts to it. Blagdor reacts to it, so. But that's definitely gonna be an interesting relationship, and then with you said Aleph.
Yeah, he doesn't even know how to pronounce it.
Aleph or Aleph.
Aleph, there's a lot of back and forth in terms of jokes and just reactions and towards stuff that's going on, especially in episode 1 when we're going in the woods. So I would say those two characters have a really good and unique relationship with Jhinn.
Well, I think Jhinn really values Blagdor's practicality.
Yeah.
They kind of butt heads on ideology,
right.
But Blagdor axes first, axes questions later. He's axe, and then finally gets the question. So he really likes his action. Sitting there, I don't know, it's just the dynamic of being at the table, but sitting there next to Heather, I've maybe Jhinn and Aoife are kind of close, and Heather, I think Heather said before that she kind of has this motherly aspect over Jhinn, sweetie, that's not what that means or whatever. So it's a little bit, it's I think Aoife and Blagdor, Aleph and Orsinius, I view as a little bit too snooty, I think. But just like in episode 1, I did like that Aleph would get right to the punch and we don't need the tracker. I can take us down the southern road. Let's get to it. And Jhinn's like, hell yeah, let's go do that. Yeah. I call this a Tetspo. Is this a Tetspo?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
It's a Tetspo, folks.
Let's go with
deal
that.
with it, nerds.
Let's go
with
with
Tetspo.
Yeah.
So
now, any martial artists out there, I know, you're gonna look at this sideways and be like, this is not a bow staff, but look, just roll with me, because when I looked at it, I was just like, wow, this is a really long bat. But then I was like, no, this is a bow staff. It's a bow staff. But no, it's really cool, and it's made by
Forged Foam. I think it's 4-pound foam. They do, they did all of our weapons, and this one's awesome. It's got this little, this. I think we colored a little bit of it, but it's got this Masters of the Box on there. It looks awesome. Got this wrap and everything.
Yeah, it's official, and it's and I get to whack people with it. I have no problem whacking people with it. I know how to use this. Jhinn is dangerous.
He gave us a test on set. Oh, actually, was it with you?
No,
No, or was it Blagdor?
someone had a shield up.
Someone had a shield, and then it was Kevin,
okay.
and I just went to town with it, like gave him full like Jhinn blast, like that was like.
And I tried to incorporate this weapon because we had it, but a monk. So Order of Way of the Open Hand is a subclass in monk, and they fight with their fists and their the fist and their feet. But so I would say like I do like an open palm jab strike or whatever, and then I would follow up with hitting with the staff here because I really wanted this to get shown off on camera, and we got it. Let's use it. So.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Like I actually learned bow staff was one of the weapons that I actually learned, and there's actually certain moments where like I get to use palm strikes and then follow it up.
Okay.
With bow staff. So that
Say maybe I was doing something right there. Yeah. Wait till I get you on the missile drop kick.
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be fun. I can't wait to do that. That's awesome.
You do martial arts, right? Is that right?
Yeah. So I have about 12 years of experience.
Awesome.
I've done several styles of kung fu, like Bagua, Tai Chi, Xingyi. I've also done like Northern and Southern Shaolin, Wing Chun. I've been exposed. Well, I've also do capoeira as well, and I've been exposed to a bunch of other martial arts like Russian Sambo, catch as you can wrestling, a little bit of boxing, Muay Thai. So like I'm kind of like, have you ever heard of Baki the Grappler?
Dude, I'm like Beverly Hills Ninja, so
Yeah.
I've never, I don't know anything about martial arts.
So I've had like an array of different experiences, but most of them are like rooted in kung fu.
Gotcha.
I would say so, but yeah, it's like my thing, man. I mean, it all started with those first few episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Awesome.
And then like it just changed with it. Funny side note, like before this, I actually tried to audition for the like newest Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't really like try to put like a lot of effort. I just wanted to say I auditioned for the Power Rangers, so I did my thing, threw a few kicks or whatever and stuff like that, and sent it in just so I could say I did it. But yeah, man.
My only other audition ever is that my buddy and I, Alex, he's like best man at my wedding, everything.
Mm-hmm.
We used to try to get on all those reality shows like Survivor and Amazing Race. Man, we would travel and like try to get on TAR just like multiple times.
Yeah.
Every time's just a big bummer. And so like the first when I come in like auditioning for like an actual acting part, like well when we're playing a game, but I'm like whatever. I never even got a second callback or anything. So I'm like I don't know what's going on there. And I get called back for this. I'm like, oh, this is amazing, yeah. So I never really like auditioned for anything like that.
Nice.
Unless you count reality shows. So
I mean, hey, this is dope ass for a start. Like
this is real, man. Well, so we had about 5 people in the pod, I think, doing an audition at the same time. Came in and I was like scoping people, I was like sizing people up, and like so Kelsey. So it's funny.
This is the real monk right here. Like
we had 2 people. We had a very successful audition because 2 other people in my audition made it through.
Okay.
It was Eddie and Kelsey, and like I picked Kelsey out from the very beginning, sitting back there waiting to get called back to the auditions. I'm like, oh, this girl has charisma and she's got it. And then I hear her open up her mouth in that Jersey Blagdor accent the first time. Like, I got to step my game up, y'all. I had to come prepared with all these different accents. Like, I can speak that high Southern accent, like Kevin Spacey,
right.
And or I have Russian accent, for playing a monk, for playing cleric, Orsinius, and then I settled, I can even do a sweet Southern belle, and I was just practicing. Like my wife. My wife and I was driving her crazy. Like, hey, what's this accent sound like? What's this one sound like? She's like, you can't play a girl to save your life. And I'm like, wow. I kind of wanted to play a girl. I was kind of like, I was okay with doing that. I don't know. I think that type of thing. I play female characters in D&D several times now. I just think it's really fun. I was doing that Southern Belle accent. She's like, that's just awful. and so finally there was this voice. That I finally called upon. Chris Lee Knows Best. Have you ever seen this show?
Vaguely. I've heard of it. And
he talks like this. Okay. Yeah, he really lays it on. And so she's like, well, that actually sounds like a pretty good female voice. I was like, well, I guess he is kind of like an effeminate, reality TV star. I guess it kind of works that way. But anyway, we go in there and we get the interview. I think that starting out interview was really kind of got me into my place. And then Kevin did a really great job of these little 10 to 15 minute little scenes. And, from there, and actually once Kelsey and like Eddie and everyone really got into it, oh man, it was golden from there. I really like to play off of people. I'm a very reactionary player. I like to see what the table gives me, and I like to see what the DM's giving me. And I'm kind of a bide your time, react, and like I really want to help the DM tell his story. So sometimes I get a little bit chastised for not being proactive enough in a game, but I'm like, I really want to hit that moment. I really want to tell a good story. So I want that one-liner to pop, and I want that I want that really good zinger. I want to lighten the mood comedically and everything. So try to get that good mix of like seriousness and comedy. And Jhinn's a really good mix of that because he's just a stoic character. His intelligence is not very high. I think it's in the negatives, and it's the perfect opportunity playing Jhinn to just sit there and think of a one-liner and think of what would a big old dummy say and let it loose, man. What I remember most about that day is that I was kind of lost and I was really hot. Like I wouldn't say, I guess I was at a loss for words at first because like it was a setup. I saw your pictures of the setup before. Like they had this huge rigging for like the backdrop and how the cameras would move, the moving cameras. I don't even know what you call those. But
sliders. The
sliders, yeah. Sorry, the sliders. Yeah, obviously the cameras slide. We had 2 tables and then Kevin, on the other side, opposite side of us, and so we had 3 cameras, one for this table, one for that table, one right on Kevin, and I like, damn, this is legit. I didn't know exactly what to go into it. I knew with the audition that I was dealing with a pretty serious group of individuals here, and then I walk into 615 and like they spent all this time rigging up this set, and here I am under these bright lights, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to tense up. And so I was kind of quiet in the very beginning of the shoot. But, I mean, to me it makes sense for Jhinn. He's a man of little words. He's, right. Like we were talking earlier, quality over quantity. Right. He wants to get to that action, and I just kind of let it soak in. And I was just having a blast just listening to Kevin read off the first bit of the script, to like get us into our setting, and then when the actual gameplay started out, I mean, it was from there. I just kind of zoned out the cameras. Now there were a couple times when I made a really dumb one-liner. I went and looked at the cameraman, and he was like trying not to chuckle. Like I knew I had got everyone pretty good. The table reacted, and the cameraman's like he's kind of like covering his mouth, make sure he doesn't give anything away. I held it together after the one-liner delivery. And then I finally cracked a smile after I locked eyes with him. I'm like, damn, I tried to deliver it with a straight face, but I couldn't quite. But yeah, it was hot. Like the fan blowing in the background, we had to kind of turn it down because the air pollution and everything. It stormed in the middle of it, so we had kind of a delay. Man. Yeah, with the rain coming down, and we're like, screw this, we got to roll with it. So let's just power on through, and then the rain kind of died down a little bit there. So I think we got pretty lucky with that, honestly. And I mean, it was a long day. I could tell we were kind of petering out there towards the very end. Hope it doesn't really suffer too much in the last episode or so. But Sergio came and gave us a big pep talk. I was like, all right, let's stand up. Let's kind of run around real fast, go out, play in the rain for a second or whatever, just whatever. And like, let's get ourselves ready for this last bit. And we soldiered on. We powered through it and got through it. It was a long day, but it was a very fulfilling day. It was pretty good.
Oh man, I thought I made it, man. Like the set looked so official. Like I walked in and I'm like, okay, like make sure I remember my lines and everything. Like, cause like when I walked in, it just looked so like, I don't know if it was because we were doing it in Green Dragon or like some people were already in costume or like because of the cameraman and stuff like that, but it just looked so official, like I was on like a Hollywood set or something. And I'm just like, okay, man, this is really cool. And so, you know, they threw the like waiver agreement. I'm like, oh shit, this is about to be intense. Like, oh man, I gotta sign another one of these. So did that, and then like went to the back, and then, you know, changed. And I just remember like just thinking about like what this is gonna look like once it's finished, right? So I you know, I was just super excited. And one thing I couldn't get over was like the camera angle. So when I got to see like a picture of me like walking in at that like angle or like the silhouettes behind me and stuff, I'm like, man, this is gonna be so badass, man. Like, I can't wait. And I got on like the Raiden hat. Like,
is that costume yours?
No, well, so the pants are mine and the shoes are mine.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
but
like the necklaces
else,
and okay.
No,
cool.
no. I think there's a couple. It's like a combination of different people's stuff.
Well, it looks killer, man. Yeah, it looks awesome.
I love it, man. I the only thing that I was concerned about, right, was the like the ninja pants, because they go up to like under like my chest and shit, like, and so I thought that it was gonna look weird, right? And so like when I got it up there, I was like, man, this is actually super comfortable. Like, you know, it feels like it's an extra pair of underwear, right? Like, I can just walk around. I feel like I don't have anything on. Like, I can like throw, because I was worried like later in the like the fight scenes and stuff. Like, I was worried like I wasn't gonna be able to move. But then once I like got a feel for it, and I had like the extra like taping at the bottom of my shoes, like, felt good. And then the other thing that like I was thinking about was, I was like, okay, I got a haircut, but I know that I'm a monk, so I'm like, at some point, no, this got to come off. Like, all of that just got to shave off. And I just kept thinking, I'm like, okay, let me play it cool. Let me keep the hat on as long as possible. Then as soon as we get into like that season, by the time we get to the part where I gotta cut it off, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Like, I know I'm gonna look like a I don't know, like bean or something, like a brown bean or something. But hey, let's do it. Like, but yeah, no, I remember the first day, it was super exciting. It was cool to see that like everybody else was just as excited. It was cool to see how there were some folks who like had a little bit of experience, and then some who were like brand new to this. And I really enjoyed like kind of the chemistry, like all of the other actors than I had. So it was dope. I loved it.
I did play an extra in one of the. You can see me. Whenever you do your little double take, I think I walked past the scene right there, and I actually looked towards the barn as well, as just like a little homage
That's
to that.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, but I've seen that, and I saw you guys like had a drone ready. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and just sitting there, and I got to talk with Jeff, our producer, and I got to see the great work that Andy and all the hard work that goes into like setting a scene, getting the angles and the lighting just right. You know, y'all would have to like wait on the clouds, and like I never even thought of that. And he's holding this big white thing, and like, what is that doing? Oh, it's reflecting light. Like, oh my gosh, all the science going to it. You know, math and science is behind everything,
right,
even if it is a creative endeavor. And I'm like, man, this is a lot of thought and a lot of preparation, a lot of hard work going into this. And you guys are killing it. I know. It was really hot out there the day I was there. Everyone needed a break. Daniel had to like take off his armor for a little bit because he was sweating it real bad. I know. You probably had the easiest of it all. You're pretty breezy.
Man, I was basically naked and I had a hat. Like that was a win. Like I was just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It is cool out here. Like I got on my hat. You guys need to step it up. Like
awesome.
Like, so I wasn't complaining at all. Like, you know, getting an extra tan, you know. So I'm not tripping. Like,
and you didn't like get eat up by bugs, even though you were like exposed?
I did. I think my feet are the one who paid like the biggest price.
Okay.
Because like, you know, we went back into the woods and like we just kept shooting the scene over and over. My feet were like, all right, man.
Oh, okay.
My feet were out of character. My feet were just like they were done. Like but you know, I had to keep going. You
right.
know, so but I mean, yeah, it was rough, but I enjoyed it though. That is like it was so fun because I felt like I didn't have to, you know, like change my voice and stuff. That was like the easiest acting experience ever. Like, cause all I got to do is just move my mouth like somewhat correctly. Even if I screw it up, I'm just kind of like. It was like being in a Shaw Brothers movie or something like. And so like I just really enjoyed it. Like it made learning the lines easier because all I had to do was just catch my line as opposed to like saying the right thing at the right time. Plus it gave me a little bit more creativity because I spent more time like trying to figure out how to like behave and do like sort of the nonverbal thing. So that was
Plus you don't have to speak a lot.
Right.
So,
I don't have to speak too much. You know,
right.
It's just like, you know, get the one-liners.
First off, Jhinn's a goofball.
Yeah.
Goofball is number one. I mean, he's just kind of a little bit goofy. You got one.
I would say silent. Yeah, he's a really quiet dude, but like when he says something, it like stands out, whether it's stupid or like I guess hyper aware. Like that's the hilarious part. I just love like how he's completely either naive or just so hyper aware that it just goes over everybody's heads. That's hilarious to me. So I would actually say hyper aware. That like
that's pretty good too. Like he's either he's either very focused on the exact thing that you said, or he's focused on the whole meta structure of playing a D&D game. That's a really cool call that Sergio and Jeff made to make his character kind of the meta character. And I tried to play with that a little bit. Like I think one time I was like, aren't you guys the same people we fought last time? Because I just expected our budget to have the bandits being played by the same people that played the guards or whatever. Right. So I was like, aren't you guys, didn't we just run in? Didn't we just kick your ass in or whatever? So anyway, I think the last word I would use for Jhinn is, I think there's a incomplete. I think there's a piece of Jhinn that is not. He's missing something, and I'm not sure I know what that is. I don't know if you know what that is. Anybody knows what that is right now, but I think there's a little bit, something maybe from his past or something in his personality, something a little bit that Jhinn misses, and he's looking to kind of make that full person, emerge from his shell, from his, just go out there and be a kick-ass ninja.
Yeah, so basically dead cow milk.
It's maybe that's it. Maybe it is a homeopathic solution that we're looking for. Jhinn's gonna open up a halotherapy, candle shop when he gets done with adventure, right? So Kevin's in the bar scene. He's the bartender. Did you know that he was the DM whenever?
Yeah, when I walked in, I was just like, wait. So he's telling the story and he's in it too. I'm like, so he's like D&D god or something like.
Yeah, like I think it's super cool that Kevin's in like all these different scenes. Like I think he should be in a lot of scenes. Like he's telling the story as this character in the background through a lot of the scenes. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I think that's a unique part of it that I like, and just like. I don't know. He's really funny. He's really funny.
Part of it is we didn't have a budget higher.
Well, hey,
it
works though. It works so well,
lack of money can make it really creative,
Because the DM, well, I mean, I don't want to, expound on this, but the DM always sees the scene through a certain point of view.
Right.
Now, you could make the argument that he was the guy at the table because he was the one expounding the adventure to everyone, but like seeing it from the bartender's point of view, that's pretty cool too.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw the cut of the teaser trailer and I had a tear coming, like, oh my gosh. When I saw Jhinn come through, I was just like so proud.
Yeah.
It was, I was like, that's my dude, man. That is Jhinn, yeah.
Exactly.
When you got cast, I'm like, oh sweet, like, I'm so white, I'm transparent, and like, this dude is, this thing's gonna bring a lot of color to the mix. It's pretty awesome. Right? Yeah, and so I think you're perfect for Jhinn. I think it's awesome.
That. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Have you been out to any of the shoots?
I've just had so much fun coming up with Jhinn in my mind, and then seeing something that it may not be like the 100% representation I had exactly when I was coming up with it, but when I saw you on screen, to me that is Jhinn. That is now you are now the encapsulation of Jhinn, and so that's. I have started working my idea of what Jhinn is into how you portray him on screen, and I can't wait to get back on the table, back with the dice again, to elaborate on that. I want to work with you about maybe take some things out of your background perhaps and incorporate it into Jhinn going forward. So I really look forward to that. What about you? Anything else?
No, I'm super excited, particularly for the fight scenes. This will be like one of the first times I actually get to use like my background and like apply it to the camera. So like I'm super excited about that.
Well, I roll really well, so
yeah.
So you'll get to wax some fools. So
it'll be fun because then I'll get to use what I know. That I also get to like test my limits and creativity too. So with that, so that's gonna be super exciting. But beyond that, like I'm enjoying this character. Like I look forward to like more scenes and like developing the character, like getting more into the character as we move forward and working with you, of course.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was Jhinn the Monk signing off.